So one of the interesting things about bees is to get honey, they have to travel to the flowers and get what's called nectar. They bring it into the hive and then they evaporate it. If you look down here, there are some bees down here fanning, and what they're doing is they're taking the moisture out of the nectar and they're turning it into honey. The nectar is 85% water and 15% sugar, and they need to get that whole amount of nectar down to about 17 or 18% moisture. So that's what they do. They bring it in, they mix it with some of the enzymes in their body, and then they store it in a comb, and then they fan it until it becomes honey. So what we're doing here is we're opening up, this is the honey super. The bees live down here, which is called the brood chambers. They live down here, and this is where they store their own honey for winter. But anything above this, and we usually stack them up pretty high, but on this one we haven't added any yet because of the rain this year. This is the honey that the beekeepers can take. It's excess honey. It doesn't affect the bees. And then we leave all of this honey down here so that they can survive the winter time. We take 1 to 2 to 3 frames out of each box at different times of the season so that we can get the different honeys that help people with their allergies. Because as the bees progress throughout the season, they go to different plants. And so right now they're on clover, sweet clover, all of the wildflowers that we have. But earlier in the spring, they're on the trees. They're on the honey locust trees. And then in this part of the country, in northwest Indiana, we get what's called the dark goldenrod and aster honey, and that is almost dark brown. And that is a very strong, pungent honey that almost smells like stinky socks when you're taking it out of the hive. It doesn't smell like that once you harvest it, but it's very strong. But it's a fall honey, and if you have the allergies in the fall with your ragweed and your hay fever and all that, that is the honey that you want, because that has all the stuff in it that is going to help you get over those allergies. So you can see this one is almost all the way capped, but on the other side, it's not capped at all. So I wouldn't take this one. I'd leave this one in here for another week or so, and we'll just put it right back where it's at and let the bees continue working on it. So I think that's all we're going to get out of this hive. We're going to close it up, and then we're going to move to the uncapping process and how we actually get the honey out of the frame. So what we've done is we've gone to the hive to take out our 2 frames of honey today, and this is summer honey, and these are ready to be uncapped, and we're going to uncap them using the uncapping knife. And this knife has a little bevel on it. It's a specialized knife for uncapping honey. It's not just a big long knife. It has a little bevel, and if you rest the bevel exactly on the wood, you can just go back and forth and cut this off nice and easy, and you'll see that the cappings go right into our bucket, and we drain these cappings later and get the honey off of them. We don't waste any of this honey. So after the whole process, we're left with this 1 pound jar of honey. We got about 3.5 to 4 pounds out of those 2 frames. And then this is a fall honey from our fall harvest, and you can see the difference in the color. And that's what we're left with after this process.